index buying into an AI index may not necessarily be the right play if you are looking out over the next 5 to 10 years.
Lisa, how much has your call been influenced by the advent, or at least the increased adoption of artificial intelligence so far this year? Are you leaning into it in the same kind of way?
I really agree with virtually everything that Jack said. I think, our perspective is AI is the real thing. But like so many transformational, particularly enterprise technologies, this is going to be a long story. It's a story about process change. It's a story about capital substituting for labor. And it's a story, quite frankly, where it's not going to ultimately be about the tech makers. It's going to be about the tech takers. And in that way, this is not like the smartphone. It's a lot more like the internet. And the same way that the internet ultimately wasn't about JDS Uniphase and Corning Glassworks and AT&T. It was about Amazon, right? I don't know that generative AI ultimately is going to be about NVIDIA. And, as much as, I think NVIDIA is in a unique position and has generated a huge amount of wealth for folks, it may not be the ultimate winner, to Jack's point. It may be the tech takers. It may be the companies that implement generative AI to truly disrupt and transform and creatively destroy and reinvent their business models.
Given that the rally year to date has been so concentrated, Lisa, on a number of names, including NVIDIA, including a lot of the AI complex, how do you come up with some sort of overarching call without having some sort of AI thesis underpinning it?
Well, look, I think our call is really about, owning some of the things away from the market cap weighted index. Exactly to Jack's point, this is about active management, it's about stock picking, it's looking for value in the market. And where a lot of that value is in companies. And I would suggest in the healthcare sector, in the financial services sector, in the real estate sector, in the utilities sector, in the energy sector, that are going to be transformed because they're going to adopt these technologies. And so play it that way. Play it.
Jack, just quickly here, how much are you looking at some of the big tech as not necessarily driving forward, but perhaps being more neutral as a weighting or something that you might want to be looking at?
I would say, right, that the handful of big tech names have driven the rally thus far this year, and because of that, it's easy to forget that there are another 490 plus stocks in this index that haven't done quite as well. That valuation dispersion, the performance dispersion, I think means that you have to start looking outside of those mega cap technology names for some of that performance that we may be looking for over the next 6 to 12 months.
Jack Manley, Lisa Shallett, both of you, thank you so much for being with us. Coming up, the morning calls, and later, Fed Chair Jay Powell joining the other global central banking heads in Sintra, Portugal. We'll take you live to the ECB forum in Sintra. That's still ahead at the opening bell.
Sharpie 77 on charges is coming. Get 7 ring it off with 50 ringgit spent. Just click, stack and check out at Sharpie app on 77.
Kan, kita doa Rabbi Yasir wala Fasir. Doa
Sharpie 77 on values. Download Sharpie now.
Dia tu bukan nak buka, tu bukan dia.
This is Countdown to the Open. I'm Lisa Abramowitz in for Jonathan Farrow. Time now for our morning calls. We'll look at some of the analyst recommendations on Wall Street this morning. First up, Morgan Stanley reinstating Delta as its top pick within the airline sector, noting management's enthusiastic tone at yesterday's Investor Day. Next up, Deutsche Bank downgrading Walgreens to hold, warning of weaker profitability. And finally, Wells Fargo upgrading Pinterest to overweight, pointing to upcoming catalysts and improving engagement trends. Coming up, that big confab in Sintra, Portugal, with global central banking heads. Take you there next. This is Bloomberg.
Reuniting. Here's to a refreshing break. Here's to unleashing the fizzy excitement. And to easy flowing conversation. Reuniting. The refreshing, sweet, and easy to drink Italian wine. Reunite with delight.
countdown to the open. I'm Lisa Abramowitz in for Jonathan Farrow. Moments away from the start of trading, about 20 seconds to go, and you can see that downward draft driven by the Nasdaq after yesterday's rally, down about 0.5%. You can see the S&P futures down 0.3%. Yields lower as well as we take a look at a potential softening in trend. And as we look forward to what we're expecting to see out of Sintra, Portugal, with all the central bankers, 10-year yields lower by 3 basis points, 3.73%. Crude marginally higher, regaining losses from earlier this morning, but still sub 70 on WTI, $67.96, and a little bit of dollar strength, although not really moving out of this range.